You're listening to Radio Long Island City, recorded at our studios near Hell Gate, 9 kilometers north of the Harbor Hill Moraine. And now, the Observatory. The Observatory, Friday the 25th of July, 2025. It is 35 days after the summer solstice. It is 59 days before the fall equinox. By the Hebrew calendar, the first day of the month of Av begins today at sundown. By the Islamic calendar, the first day of the month of Safar begins also today at sundown. Today is a special day for Native Americans in New York City. The 46th annual Thunderbird American Indian Powwow begins today and will last through the weekend. Celebrated at the Queens County Farm Museum, it has been ranked the 10th largest powwow in the United States. Over 40 Indian nations will participate. The general public is also invited to attend. It should be said that advance tickets are needed. We send greetings to all who celebrate the vibrancy of native life this weekend. By the French Republican calendar, it is the 7th day of Thermidor, the day of the Armoise, the mugwort. The sun rises today at 5:46 a.m. Solar noon takes place today at 1:02 p.m. The sun sets today at 8:18 p.m., civil twilight ends at 8:49 p.m., and nautical twilight ends at 9:28 p.m. The length of daytime today is 1 minute, 48 seconds, shorter than yesterday. The moon is in its waxing crescent phase and is 1% full at midday. The first quarter will arrive on Friday, the 1st of August. These are the predicted tides today for Horns Hook. In the early morning, low tide, 5:18 a.m., 3 centimeters. Near midday, high tide, 11:47 a.m., 1 meter 49. In the evening, low tide, 5:16 p.m., 18 centimeters. Near midnight, high tide, 11:48 p.m., 1 meter 71. In our shared realm of plants and animals, among the later flowering trees, the crepe myrtle is particularly beautiful. It is just coming into its flowering sequence. Quite generous in their blooms, they put out panicles of delicate flowers. Their bark is also of note. Smooth and mottled in color, the bark sheds throughout the year, much like the London plane tree. Commemorations. On this day in 1936, Orchard Beach opened in the Bronx. Part of Pelham Bay Park, it was a project devised by Parks Commissioner Robert Moses. He connected several islands in the park using landfill and created what was called at the time the Riviera of New York. On this day in 1953, the subway token was first introduced in New York City. The fare had just been raised from 10 cents to 15 cents, and it was cheaper to introduce a customized token than it was to adjust the turnstiles to accept 2 coins, a dime and a nickel. The so-called small Y token was in use until 1970. 48 million were coined. With its distinctive cutout Y, the token quickly became an emblem of the city, and although tokens were entirely replaced by the MetroCard in 2003, they still have a grip on people's imaginations. On this day in 1956, the Italian ocean liner SS Andrea Doria, bound for New York, collided with the MS Stockholm in heavy fog 45 miles south of Nantucket. It sank the next day. Today is the anniversary of Bob Dylan going electric. He chose the 1965 Newport Folk Festival to unveil his new sound. Many booed his performance, which broke with folk music's orthodoxy. Others cheered. It was a sign that the times they were a-changin'. On this day in 1968, as the sexual revolution was well underway, Pope Paul VI published his encyclical Humanae Vitae. It rejected all artificial forms of birth control. Today is Constitution Day in Puerto Rico. Its full name in Spanish is El Día de la Constitución del Estado Libre Asociado de Puerto Rico. It celebrates the adoption of the Constitution of the Commonwealth. On this Constitution Day, let us consider how Puerto Rico has fared in its association with the United States over more than a century. As the island continues to struggle with economic and infrastructure issues, how can governance and the policies enacted in Washington change so the island can thrive? And that is the Observatory, Friday, the 25th of July, 2025.